Is BNB more bearish than we first thought? Guys, let's have a look at BNB token in today's video. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Cheeky Crypto Uncensored. We're going to have a quick look at the BNB token today across the 1 hour, the 1 day and the 1 week timeframes, and we'll take a look at, is it as bearish as we first thought, or is it perhaps even more bearish than we first thought? We'll have a look at everything kind of going on with the price action for BNB. Before we get into the video, guys, you can see the like button, you can see the subscribe, and of course you can see that bell. Please tap on all three so that you never miss a video coming to you from Cheeky Crypto Uncensored. Let's get straight on into this one. BNB paired up with USDT. Binance is the data source for this 1 hour time frame. Let's rewind this back just a little bit over on the main channel. Of course, you know that if you caught that video, if not, head on over there and check that one out. You will of course know that we were tracking this A, B and C structure to the upside, targeting a move to $258 to as high as $268, where we can see most recently the price hitting a high up here. If we could grab this candle wick, a high of $271.90, from which of course we've seen this dramatic pull to the downside. Of course, everything coming off the news surrounding CZ stepping down and such. So, you know, there's been some dramatic effects coming from Binance affecting the BNB token in itself. So from here, we were obviously looking at this previous area of support turn resistance between $233.70 and $235.80. So we can see notoriously this is an area of previous resistance, turn support, and yes, it has been a bit of a volatile area. We can see coming in, not really closing any decisive candles inside of here, dropping in and out of this range, but more importantly, we have completely dropped from here. But through a traditional lens, what we can also see is extremely bearish in my opinion. First of all, Smart Money Concepts does tell us that we have a strong high and a weak low on the charts. So first of all, we are looking for a continuation to the downside. Secondly, we can see that that 1 hour 200 EMA is sitting very high on the charts here, around about $234. Secondly, we can see that the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA, so the 50 SMA in green, the 50 EMA in red here, are sitting just below the price action, which could be looking at this as a bullish sign. You know, we could be seeing this as resistance, but what we have to really take a note of here, guys, we can now see the green 50 SMA crossing lower than the 50 red EMA. In my eyes, yet again, another bearish sign for BNB's price action. So you know, what really begs the question is where do we go next for BNB? Well, we can see we are trading below the 200 EMA, the two 50s, the SMA and the EMA. We are now trading below equilibrium. The 1 hour is overbought, the 4 hour is overbought. Both of these are looking for further moves to the downside, and more importantly, guys, we have seen the structure change here for BNB. So as you know, I like to discuss these structure changes and breaks. We had that bearish change of character for BNB, and of course, when we've seen this character change, when we do see these guys, we tend to see the price come up to retest the area it's just came from. And then subsequently from there, we see the structure breaking once again. Now, it's no surprise, we have seen the price come back up to try and test out that area it came from before we look for a continuation to the downside. And I think there is absolutely no exception as to what is going on here. I do think that we have a further progressive move to the downside actually playing out here. So what may this look like? Well, initially we do have this big drop to the downside, whether we see this as a 5-wave or a 3-wave move. Overall, we have seen this move to the downside. And then from here, of course, we did see a very small move to the upside. So instantly we can be looking for a very bearish move to play out here for BNB, and I do think, you know, it is highly possible that we could be seeing the price dropping under that $200 level, perhaps looking down as low as $188 here for BNB. Now, of course, this is incredibly bearish. It is such a low target here, considering the price just now sitting at $228. It will see quite a dramatic drop to the downside. But what we can take a note of overall here is we are trading below the 200 EMA, we are trading below the 50 SMA and 50 EMA, or sorry, testing them currently. We are trading below the equilibrium here on the 1 hour chart. So everything is also indicating, you know, that we are in a bearish structure. We are bearish overall on the price action of BNB. When we do come up to that 4 hour time frame, But we can see that that price has came on down, and yeah, on the 4 hour especially here, the 50 EMA, the 50 SMA crossing lower than that 200 EMA. Let's clear that off the charts, an old indicator. The 50 EMA, the 50 SMA crossing lower than the 200 EMA. Once again, a very bearish sign indeed. Smart Money Concepts has not yet changed character yet for BNB here on the 4 hour time frame. This will come, in my opinion, by crossing lower than $219.20. This would see the character overall change here on the 4 hour time frame for BNB. Now, on the 4 hour chart, yes, it does say we have a strong high, a weak high, and a strong low. But we are trading below the 200 EMA, we are trading below the 50 SMA and the 50 EMA. Incredibly bearish times. The structures are playing out here, but once again, I do think we have that potential to breach the $202 previous low level, coming down to $197 to $188, I do think is entirely possible. When we bring this up onto that daily chart, well, we do know that we previously, on that run to the upside, touched into the 50 to 88% retracement of the C wave we were watching between $268 and $328, giving us the idea that there is no requirement to continue that move to the upside. We could perhaps see a move come up to retest out equilibrium and the 200 EMA here on the daily, but overall there is no requirement to go any higher than what we have already seen here at $271 for BNB. Everything is incredibly bearish overall. So a retest of this upper area is entirely possible. We can see that that daily is oversold. However, I think we need to see a further move to the downside before we do see a corrective move to the upside. Yes, I do think there is a corrective move to come where we could potentially see this area up here between $242 and $255 tested. This is an internal sell order block, so we could see that price come on back up to here, but most notably here on the daily chart, we are trading below the 200 EMA, we are trading below the 50 EMA, we are trading below the 50 SMA. Very bearish overall in my opinion. What we can see, filling out an internal buy order block here on the daily, we could see a bounce up from here. However, as we know on the lower time frames, we are still looking for a further push to the downside before we do see a bit more of a corrective move to the upside. Up onto this weekly chart, the weekly chart, well, once again guys, is incredibly bearish. We have pushed up to test out the 50 SMA and 50 EMA here on the weekly chart, and we failed to close above there. We dropped straight back down, almost down to close below the 200 weekly EMA. We actually found just a little bit of support there. However, this week's candle has now dropped below the weekly 200 EMA, which sits at $230.70. So the weekly also here is incredibly bearish. Just coming out of the overbought position, the weekly is still looking for further progression to the downside. So what does that progression to the downside truly look like here, guys? Obviously, this is the weekly time frame. This can take so long to play out. This could take months to play out. So this is not going to happen overnight. But in my opinion, we will see a new low for BNB. This is no secret. This is, this isn't the first time I've spoke about this. I expect to see BNB crash, and I can see a path leading down towards $105, down to as low as $77 for BNB. Now, of course, we could easily just structure this one up, guys. We could say, look, we had a big A wave to the downside, we corrected up in a B wave, and we're looking for that next tumble to the downside in this C wave. That's perfectly fine, but there's also more logic to this move. We are bearish overall on the structures. The 50 SMA, the 50 EMA, we're looking for them to continue to come down, so this will take a bit of time to play out, but we are finding rejection on that weekly 200 EMA. This has not been done ever for BNB. So first of all, I find that incredibly bearish. Closing below here, we closed below here previously, guys, the 14th of August, breaking above there for a couple of weeks and failing to break up since, finding rejection from here. I do not see that as, a great position for BNB. I fumbled that one there. Apologies, guys. We are bearish on that overall. This structure to the downside I do see playing out. We have this fair value gap in particular between $118 and $75. Obviously, this comes back to the previous bull run for BNB. But the concern I do have here overall is this low that we currently have of $183.40 all the way back on the 13th of June 2022. After this, guys, there are no areas of true support for BNB. The next area of true support comes at $43.40. Now, are we likely to see the price tumble down to $40? I find it very hard to see that happen, but I am not ruling that one out. First of all, I would like to see the first target area here between $105 and $77. This is actually the second target area, I have to say. The first target area would obviously be this fair value gap between $186 and $148. Should we come down, test this and lose this, then yeah, I think we're on the collision course for $105 to $77. Should we lose $77, well, I think we're looking down the path of a $44, potential $44 BNB. But of course, that is incredibly bearish, guys. Let us know your thoughts and your opinions on everything I did discuss in today's video. Everything I did discuss in today's video is, of course, my thoughts and my opinions. They are not financial advice. Please do not take them as financial advice. It's just purely my thoughts and my opinions. But I would love to know what you guys thought of today's video and where you see the price action for BNB going. I will leave that one there for today. Yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, guys, smash up the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell, all the usual good stuff. If you're going to trade, please do trade safely. Have a nice tight stop loss, make some great gains, stay safe in the space, and until next time, have a very nice day.